Hello, welcome to the Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to Stream Streak 1 million. John, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I was just mouthing because I'm being an idiot.
That didn't help at all.
I know, right?
Can people hear him now? I've hacked it, but I've not hacked it. Let me see what you guys think. Hello, everyone. By the way, if you're watching back, because we're only going to put this version up, not the other version. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to Stream Streak Day 437. No, actually, it's 430. No, what is it, John? 480?
It was 6-9 on Monday, so that means it's 72.
472. 472. And thanks for joining us if you're joining us in the Twitch chat or if you're joining us live on YouTube. Well, back at home on YouTube, whatever the hell. John, how are you?
I'm really good. Yeah, I've had a really quiet morning. I may have said this before, but no one heard it. But yeah, it was really quiet, and I'm kind of glad that I'm not hearing someone talk just about Warhammer incessantly.
It's a good joke the second time around, but it's not any of those times. I'm going to send over to the Twitch chat. Thanks for hanging out with us while we fix our tech issues. If you're listening to the podcast or you're watching on YouTube, you didn't even know these tech issues happened, and it's all thanks to the Twitch chat. Pragmatic, Job PLC, Tywin, Gitley, Neuroshock Dubs, Warhammer Rob, big love to you. Brucimus, what's going on? Lunch break with Ron. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. John, we're going to talk some Warhams. What have you been doing Warhams related recently?
I'm trying to think. I've been building and painting Kragnos. I think we chatted about that on, was it Sunday?
How's he looking? Fun to build? Easy to build?
It's quite easy to build, actually. As kits go, it's quite straightforward, but painting takes a long time just because there's a lot of it. Not because it's complicated, but just because there's a lot of surface to paint. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, but I haven't really done any painting for the last few days, which is just a bit rubbish. But
you don't even know. Yeah, not painting is my dream future. Is what I'm gonna describe it as. What's this? Stream Street for Stream Street Ants. Well, I was doing some painting again last night. I've also 3D printed myself a Idneth Deepkin army at the same time. That's been happening in the background, which has been really nice. I've been loving that. Thanks, David Smith, for donating 5 gift subscriptions. Nice. Big love to you. What up? That's so nice of you. There's some cool people in there. POBAFETT, Synchroneyess. Thanks for getting gift subscriptions. So yeah, I printed myself a 3D printed my first 3D printed army, John. I was hoping I was going to get it finished for this weekend for the tournament I'm at, but I don't think I'm going to have time to finish it off. So that's pretty sad. But I'm very, very excited. I've got. Do you want? I'll see. What do you think? Would you be okay playing a 3D printed army, John? Tell me about that.
I think so, as long as it was clear what the stuff was meant to be. So to me, that's the kind of the be all and end all. Is if someone brings a mod on, I go, what on earth is that meant to be? As long as there's kind of the suggestion, like if it's meant to be a Leviathan, I can tell based on the size of it. More importantly, the base size matching as well. That'd be quite cool, right? So.
Well, so yeah. I'll show you what I've got, John. I don't know if you can you see it on the screen. You see my camera?
Yeah, we can see your camera.
So this is my Volty. As you can see, nice. It's in white resin, so it's going to be harder to see. But he looks pretty sweet. He's got a trident. So very very excited about that. This is my Eidolon of the Storm. Again, it's in white resin, so you might not be able to see, but he's a big sea fella.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, he looks cool, right? I look pretty hyped for him.
So what you missed whilst you were running off to get your toys was basically. My response to you was very much, as long as it's kind of vaguely clear what they're supposed to be representing, I'd have no problem. Well, if it was just like you couldn't tell the difference, I'd be like,
so these are my thralls. I don't know if you can see, but they're Murlocs, from like World of Warcraft kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
You have to, as you move them, you have to make the noise, Rob.
Yeah, of course. But those are going to be my thralls. So excited about that. So I've done myself an army, which I'm really, really excited about. So I've got everything counts as. I've also got a big crab monster as an Eidolon, but I've still got to glue him together. But if you don't make Aquaman quotes while playing that army, I'll be disappointed. I'm into that. Yeah. So I think it is super worth it. But I don't think that would be very confusing at all. It's really easy, right? Especially something like Deepkin, where if I'm like, these are thralls, you're like, cool. They don't have any other infantry apart from they've got thralls and reavers.
Yeah,
exactly. It's one or the other, and they're don't have any bows.
Ones, right? Exactly. They're the hitty ones, not the bow ones, so it makes sense, right?
Yeah. And then again, like, there's one big character. This guy, he's the he's your Achillean king. You're like, cool, I get that. And then the big fucking like octopus god is an Eidolon of the Storm. Okay, I understand that. So super simple again. I think that's really nice. I think it can get maybe a little bit confusing if you've got like... But I mean, I still don't know the difference between the official Games Workshop Fireslayer characters. I don't even know which one's a Battlesmith, which one's a Rune Father, or whatever.
They've got different keys and different headdresses, I think, and that's about it.
And
maybe different runes on their knees, because they've got very small runes on their like legs, don't they?
Yeah.
It's just it's the subtle differences. You wouldn't know unless you were a long-term Fireslayers player.
Anyway, so that's what I've been doing. But I really love the models. I think that they're super lovely. And so I haven't. I'm not gonna try and speed paint them for tomorrow night. I think that would be really rubbish. So
I think you'd regret that because you'd never go back and retouch them up. They'd always end up being that rushed.
But then also they'd be done and they're just in the can because I've already got my eyes on my 3D printed ogre army and also a 3D printed. I'm basically only going to 3D print armies in the future. So I've
even
got
Cruel Boys.
No, I'm going to collect the Cruel Boys, but I think I might add stuff to the Cruel Boys. Like, yeah. I don't want to just keep, let's say the good list is 60 of the Gut Rippers. I'm going to find something else that can be Gut Rippers as opposed to buying 60 Gut Rippers. Like, it's fucking weird. Like, it's meant to be a creative hobby. Like, yes. Just buying 90 Witch Elves, and then just having the same monopose 90 Witch Elves is super weird flex, to be honest, from a creative hobby. But that's fine.
That kind of gives me more motivation to buy an army like Daughters of Cain, because currently, like you just said, the idea of having the same kit as probably half your army, if not more, puts me off entirely.
Yeah. So anyway, whatever. Like, my point is, I'm excited about it, but I'm not going to probably get it finished this weekend. But obviously, playing the Age of Sigmar event this weekend, I kind of want to use the stuff that's fresh. So, the endless spells, obviously, that's something that's a new mechanic that you want to use. And you kind of want to use a monster and some heroes. So, something that kind of, uses the new rules. But I've only got, a few armies that I could really do that with. So, I think I'm probably going to play with my Tzeentch. And I'm going to probably try and use as many predatory endless spells as possible, just to kind of see what that feels like and how that works in-game. So, I think that's kind of going to be my plan. Thanks to DELVALKRIS for donating $5.69 to the show. Whoop, whoop! Thanks. And also shout out to a podcast listener, Rick, for donating some money last night, who donated some money via that method. So big love to him. Yeah. And then I've also, John, just to catch you up, and also generally everyone else up in the world. Hey, Soren, big love to you in Texas, everyone down there, which I might be going to next year, I hope. Fingers crossed. Is next year, John, not this year. Is I've been writing event packs for Age of Sigmar, doing the scoring system, so that's been kind of the newest thing, and I think I've come up with the system I'm going to use for our events here at the TSN Arena, and then we'll kind of talk about that, which seems like the easiest kind of system, which is, and I'll explain it out. So in 40k, John, do you want to tell people how it works in 40k?
So the way you score in 40k is you score each turn from turn 2. So turn 2 to 5, you score the primary, which is up to 15 points, depending on the mission. And then you've got 3 secondaries, which cap at 15 each as well. So those combined is a score of 90, and then you get 10 points if you're fully painted, which no one ever bothers with.
It's just 10 points straight away.
Yeah, people like 10 points done. So generally, you've got turns that could score you quite consistently, kind of 20 to 30, if you're having a really good turn. So in contrast to, I think the scoring now for Age of Sigmar is at 28, is it?
Yeah.
For the missions?
Well, no, it's not out of 28 because some changed. So, there are, if anyone would like the breakdown of them. I did it yesterday. 1 second. It's going to take me a second to grab these files. I did a breakdown of it, although I think Archeon the One-Eyed King also did me a breakdown of it the other day. But basically, missions? It's pretty simple, basically, John. There are 12 missions, including the 3 from the core book, and the new scoring system, in brackets, the new scoring system, new style, First Blood, Power Struggle, which needs an FAQ, Survival of the Fittest, the Vice, and Tooth and Nail are the ones. So Tooth and Nail is 1, the Vice, Survival of the Fittest, Power Struggle, and First Blood. So there's 5. There's only 5 that are the new ones. So 5 are the new ones. And out of the whole pack, and everything else is just kind of the old scoring system. So basically, I think for my tournaments, I'm just going to use a win, loss, draw system. This is for tournaments and how you work them out. But there are minor losses and also minor wins in there as well. So, but it'll just be like which they don't have in 40k, right? If you win by a point, you win.
Yes. Yeah. There's no kind of deviation on it. If you win by just a B stick, you win.
Right, exactly. And there's a problem that happens in 40k tournaments because of that, right?
Yeah, so a good example is a 3-day event where it's a 3-game event where you've got, say, 20 people. You could have 5 people all on 3 wins. And then it comes down to just the granularity of their score. And so you could have had 3 really solid games, but because you've only scored 93 each of your games, not 97, 98, 99 type of thing, you lose and you end up being like 4th or 5th place.
Well, there's also a point in that, like, let's say you and me played a game and it was super close, and you get 73 and I get 72. The tournament results will reflect the fact that you beat me. End conversation. Like, not that it came down to a single point, right? So there's a kind of like, I don't think that really showcases how things work properly. But like ultimately, you kind of have to. So the system that I've put in place, or that I'm going to put in place for my event, that's important, is win, major win, minor win. So basically, if someone has won 3 games in a 1-dayer, or 5 games in a 2-dayer, or 6 games in a 2-day, whatever. Like, if someone's won all of their games and no one else has, immediately they're the winner. Yeah. And if you're on and then if several people, let's say 3 people have gone 3-0 at a 1-dayer, let's just say, the second thing I would change it to, so the second path to victory, is the points difference for each game in a 20-0 system. That's a little bit more complicated to explain, but basically, for each point you beat your opponent by, you change it from a 10-10, which is, let's say me and John, we play each other and we both score 15 points each. Every time I beat him by 1 point, so let's say I then get 16, John gets 15, it changes from a 10-10 to an 11-9, and it changes up, right, all the way to a 20-0 system. Just make it. I know you're like, oh, it's a bit complicated, but it's not really. Like, if John beats me 19-9, there's a 10 points difference, so immediately it's 20-0. The reason that you really want to put something like that in a pack is because what you actually want is, you don't want me to just get a few points ahead of John, know that he's got no way of coming back, and then just not interact with him. You know, just go 3 points up and then not interact with him at all. So what you really want to do is you want to encourage in the pack, and the scoring system, you want something to make the players engage with each other as much as possible. Because what you want is, you want me to dominate John. You don't want me to just get the big W. You want me to get the big W that I also smashed him. So that when you have those 3 people that are 3-0 at the end of a day, you've got one guy who smashed 3 people, and you got one guy who only just scraped a win versus 3 people. The guy that smashed 3 people, he gets the first place spot, right?
Yes. And that kind of thing kind of shows some deviation, I suppose, which is good. So why do you need to do the 20-0 system rather than just using the actual result of that game?
So the tertiary would be total VPs. The result of the game you're already using. So for first place, your first path to victory is win, loss, draw, basically. Although there's little wins and there's little losses, right? Yeah, to make it easy. So that's already. So if there's only one person who's 3-0, then that's the only system you use. It's easy peasy. If there's only one person who's 5-0, It's the only system you use. You don't have to fuck about, and it's easy. However, when you get to like all the people who went 4-1, how do you differentiate between those people? As an example, how do you differentiate between them? And the problem with the score system, where it's just total VPs in the second, is you can do a whole bunch of stuff. Specifically, like you can just be like, "Hey, I've beat you, but I've got 79, you've got 78," or whatever the situation, which we do see happen a lot in 40k, right?
Yeah.
So specifically, it's to avoid game fixing. Yeah, so that's really important. Like that pushes.
I knew
that
there was
out.
a reason, but without knowing that was the reason, I kind of lacked that context. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the third place is just your total victory points, which if you're all playing the same battle plans, you're all playing the same battle plan, so it doesn't matter. That does mean that some of the battle plans will need some victory points assigning to them, like if you play it's not First Blood, whatever the one that your win on is, we just need to assign a victory points for that, but that's fine. So super simple, like, and really easy. But like a lot of it's just thinking about how to make it most engaging. Because again, what you really want with a tertiary in a really large field, John, again, a small field of like 40 people, it doesn't really massively matter.
No.
But when you get to like 200 people, what you actually really want is you want the people who are winning to win loads. So what you want is you want their total victory points. Not only did they smash someone, like, you don't want them to just win 15-5, for example. Like, you don't want them to play some corner hammer and not engage with their opponent. Because in the missions where you score 1 for the primary victory point, 2 for the secondary... Sorry, you will score 1 victory point for holding 1 victory point for holding another 1, and then 1 victory point for holding more. You really want to encourage people to be trying for that last victory point, even though it's super hard to achieve, so it's not very efficient, so why would you try for it? So really what you'll see at like one day is you'll see a bunch of lists that are designed really to only score the 2, and then just keep everyone away, and then not really like bother. A bit like when people used to play Knife to the Heart, right? You were like, cool, I'll just not really commit and get the minor win. That'll be what I'll do. The other guy will be like, I'm going for it, big dog, and I'll run across the board and try and smash. Most of the time, that would mean that you would lose because the other guy just wouldn't commit at all, guy or girl. In this
They'd play safe. They'd play a kind of a safer game, wouldn't they? Just to guarantee their victory, but just safely without having to take any risks.
Yeah, basically, and that's it. Like it's not been super complicated to work out, but it has required like a few hours and a few conversations with some people. And I'm not saying it's the perfect system, but it's the system I'm going to put in place, which is really important. Like, and also like just kind of defeat stuff, and really made me rethink about how they do it in 40k, and the fact that like because we've seen some 40k events, John, where like yes, someone's lost, but the guy in second has already scored a load of points, right? Like, so the guy that lost, he still scored loads of points. So,
and I guess if you're playing an event where there's things like best in faction and stuff, if you can at least bridge that gap of points, you've got a motivation there to maybe be, even if you're not going to win the event, you're there trying to achieve a different goal, whether it's to get best in faction or to beat your mates. Having that kind of granularity to the scoring also pushes you up a little bit further and motivates you to try to at least.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just weird that it's not really like baked in, but it is baked in when you like it all makes sense when you and your mate play one game. The problem is when you have 40 or 60 or 100 or 200 people play several games, like then it becomes like, okay, we got to work it out, which has been fun. Like I've quite enjoyed it. Normally I just let other people do it back in the day. Like we just go to an event and they'd just be like, I'd be like, oh, I'd be like, what's the scoring system for this event? And like, cause you and me would go to some event, right? And they'd be like, this is our scoring system. You'd be like, whatever you say, princess. Like you do what you need to do. Yeah, cool. Big thumbs. But it's quite fun to work out. Which like whatever. It's a bit mathy, but mainly what you're looking to do is make it like as unconfusing as possible. And the easiest one is win, loss, draw, right? Like I win 5 games, so I win the tournament. But it's like, oh, you won 5 games. And I think some of the other stuff is a little bit difficult. Like strength of schedule is good, but if people drop out, then their strength of that person goes down. So there's some other like weird janky stuff. So I'm super happy with that. Like, it's been good. Yeah.
I don't think there's necessarily a perfect solution, but it's at least, it seems like at least the most stable, and you can give it a go. And if
it's
you
actually perfect,
you need to adjust it.
I don't know if yeah, it's actually perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know you were worried. You were like, is that actually perfect? Yeah, nailed it. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
It's not in beta then.
Yeah, no. And it's super easy, Warhammer Rob, if people just give you their points scored. Yeah, it's very, very easy. And also easy for people to work out once they get used to it. It's like, how many points did you beat me by? Oh, you beat me by 5. Okay, so it's a 15-5. Right? It's really easy to do. John, I'll throw it to you. You beat me by 7 points, so the score is
17-3?
13-7. Shit.
13-7. Damn it. That's me trying to be too...
Oh, no, you beat me by 7. No, you're right. It's 17-3. Sorry. I got it wrong.
I was thinking there's only 20 points to go out, right?
That's right. That's right. If you beat me by 3...
Oh, jeez.
I know. I got it right. But anyway...
brain here, Rob?
Anyway, it is pretty easy, unless you're a dumb fuck like me. In which case...
no hope.
Super. No ambiguity on that scoring system, I'd like you to know. No ambiguity. Right, so what else has been going on in the Warhammer world? So that's just the news bit. That's what you and me have been up to, right? We've seen the Warhammer Plus review. We know that there's a preview coming from Games Workshop on Saturday, which we think is pretty much going to be the Stormcast Battle Tome and probably the new War Clans, new War Clans book.
And the new starter stuff.
And the new starter
and
stuff.
Magazine.
So what was the starter stuff? What was the starter stuff for 40k?
So there's a Recruit Edition, which is a slimmed down version of the rules, where you get 1 unit Necrons, 1 unit of Assault Marines, and a character each. And it's the cut down rules, and it's a little £25 box. And then there's the next stage up, which is 50 quid-ish. And it scales up completely. And then the last version is basically what we used to get with things like Dark Imperium, but you get a mini rulebook in there, which is actually quite useful. And then they normally do 2 or 3 easy build kits that are kind of themed in with them, that are all normally the kind of stuff from the starter set stuff. So Indomitus and the starter stuff have got a lot of crossover. I imagine this will be the same, because all the sprues are split in a very similar fashion, like the Shaman, the Orc Shaman, and one of the other Stormcast characters are actually on a shared sprue. So I would almost bet money that they're in a starter set together.
Yeah, and I think there's
Primaris Lieutenant was and all that.
Like everyone in the chat is saying, those starter boxes are hyper efficient, like cost to miniatures wise for Games Workshop. Yeah. So I expect are those like core line? Do they still stock those on the shelves now?
So they're all currently stocked for. So I think if you're a retailer with just the basic kind of like Games Workshop's core range, you have all 3 for 40k, but it's only the first 2 for Age of Sigmar.
But that'll probably change, or it might not change. But like,
and then there's a £6 magazine with a model and kind of an introduction to the system as well. So quite good stuff if you're wanting value out of kits, but also for getting people into the hobby. And I think they are very targeted at kind of the kid market, because it's something they can kind of work the way up to.
Do you mean adult kids?
Well, no, actually, there's a lot of teenagers that go to like a school club, and that's how they get into it. And it's an easy conversation for a parent. Cool, we'll buy this starter set thing that's 20 quid and some paints and stuff. Doesn't seem as kind of, oh my god, as 125 quid box that they're never going to finish.
That's true. And like Glodan saying in the chat, that's a good idea. It's probably a great Christmas birthday thing. Like, they walk into a shop and they're like, get this. That's what I always thought start collectings were so good as. Like, if you had like a Warhammer partner and then someone was like, okay, I want to get him Blood Angels, but like, here's a box of random Blood Angel stuff. Like, I know sometimes that's a bit like, whatever, but like, if they're just trying, you're always like, you're sweeties. Exactly. Yeah, you're trying hard.
Granny's come in saying he likes those Space Marine things. You go, well, here you go. Here's a box of Space Marines. It's a safe bet normally.
Yeah. So that's going to be Saturday, which is pretty exciting. Do you think that we're also going to hear any news on 40k Orcs, which I know obviously both of us are very excited about?
I think we might, if they're not keeping it just to Age of Sigmar. They've said in the article this week that there'll be soon some information about when we'll be able to get stuff, which normally when they do that, it's either the preview that weekend or on Sunday, the Beast Snagger box will go on pre-order. Like next week type of thing.
Which is one that you're really excited about, right?
I think so. I'm trying not to get too hyped, but if I can get the Codex a bit earlier, Because if it is a 2-month wait, I'm up for it. I'll get it now.
Yeah,
because it gives me time to. Because I'm a slow learner. I'm stupid as old beans, man. It takes me time to figure these things out.
Also, like, the problem is, John, when they keep releasing stuff, you're going to keep having to paint, and you're sick of your backlog. You're just adding more stuff to your backlog at the moment. Are we going to get a commitment from you for an army that we're finishing? I know I already said to you last week, I was like, you need to get that bad boy Kragnos finished. Are you going to get something finished?
Easily. I have about 16,000 points of orcs painted already, Rob. I'm in no rush.
40k orcs?
40k orcs, yeah.
Okay, that's good. So you don't feel any pressure to go to tournaments and stuff with your backlog?
Well, it's very much, I think, as soon as I get the stuff, I'll feel motivated to paint it. It's like anything. If I can play it, I'll paint it. But at the moment, like the Dominion preview stuff I've had very little motivation to paint it because I'm like, when am I going to use this? When?
Well, yeah, I mean, actually, I feel in the same boat, actually, because with Age of Sigmar 3 coming out, everyone who's got armies is in a great place, obviously waiting for that FAQ on Saturday, although based on something we saw yesterday, it might come out tomorrow on Friday, so because they accidentally uploaded some stuff.
Beast of Chaos one, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we might see that might happen, which is pretty exciting. But I kind of feel in this spot where you're like, oh, I'm not really sure what to play. Same with orcs, obviously, for 40k. Like, you kind of want to play your orcs at the moment, but, like, you can't because, well, you're waiting for the new stuff to come out, right?
Ironically, I'm playing them tonight, but I can't take them seriously as a list because I'm like, if I start trying to build a tournament list with my orcs, it's going to be all undone soon, potentially. So I'm just kind of like, bring what I want.
Yeah. That's fair. That's super fair. Yeah, like, so I think the Age of Sigmar community is in like an odd space with the orcs, at least. You're just waiting to get them done, which is the perfect time to paint bases for orcs. Perfect time to get all your bases done and paint some bases. Like, that's what I'm doing in a minute. Like, well, that's what I will be doing for my Cruel Boys as I'm working out what lists I want to run and everything else. I'll just paint the bases, and then I'll use bases in practice games as I'm painting up the models. And then I'll probably just play some Seraphon because they're better. But like, we'll see. They might be great. Don't criticize them. They could be great, which is what we're looking for.
Yeah. I'm hopeful.
So how do we know the base sizes for orcs is Grinaldi? Well, we know that there's a bunch of 32s. Characters will be on 40s, so that's pretty easy to work out. So that's a good start. And then after that, the monster ones and stuff. You assume some of them are going to be on the ovals and whatnot. Like, I'm not going to paint loads of big ovals in the hope of, but
yeah,
go on.
They look like, the Stormcast Griff Chargers. That's sort of the larger cavalry base. It looks like those sorts of size things. So something that sort of size. So for like the orc Squig Rider guys and stuff, if you're wanting any of the more unusual stuff, if you're on about the 40k ones. So it's just, you can make some educated guesses from the
I think you can. And I also think Saturday will be all the others as well. All the other ones. And I've 3D printed all the bases, which is super cool. So looking forward to that. They're my first resin bases that I've done, John. So like, I'm looking forward to that. I've done some swamp-themed ones from Titanforge. I did a swamp release, I think, in January. And so they've got a bunch of cool stuff. And they've also got a cool bunch of extra little mini bits that I think I'm going to add on to my Swamp Bogglers because I want to be super creepy and weird with them. Super creepy, super weird. So I'm going to add some little extras. Nice. Yeah. What theme are you doing for your orcs?
So my war clans that I started just after Christmas was all on a kind of a Martian style, kind of sandy base because I was just trying to be a bit different. So I'm kind of sticking with that as well because they're going to cross over, aren't they? So I've tried to kind of do swampy, but with a red tone to them. So,
but the rumor is that they're gonna. I don't know. This is the problem without having a roadmap. Like, I don't want to bang on about it too much, but like, roadmap would be so good for helping you plan and putting your armies together. But I mean, you could just play old armies, right? Just play your Skaven, paint up some old boys. You don't have to worry about a roadmap or what's happening to you. You can just paint up 9 Stormfiends and have a great time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can't hurt. So it's almost that weird thing of kind of like, at the moment, I'm kind of thinking I'm not going to rush with any of the Age of Sigmar orcs because if I do and second guess myself, there's nothing worth going, well, these guys are going to be really good, this unit specifically, and end up not being. I don't want to double down on something and desperately try to get something I won't end up using.
Yeah. I understand that. So we've just had a question in the chat. I'm asking here, is it's a safe space for idiots like me? Does my table have to be super flat and level 3D printer? Your table doesn't have to be particularly flat, although a 45-degree angle would be pretty much over the top. But you have to have a flat-ish table, and then your printer bed has to be flat, which is what you have to level it. Yeah, to level it out. That's going to be the big one. Nogal Matthew, big love to you. I think they make more money with a roadmap, get rid of the anxiety of now wanting to start a new army just in case. I think they make more money with a roadmap. I don't know about you. Like 100%. if I knew what I could plan for to build and paint, I would buy into it more. It's actually the anxiety / inconsistency that makes me not necessarily buy into it.
Because a good example of that is the way they did it with Necromunda, where they've gone, right, each quarter it's this book that's going to feature this warband is going to be a thing. It meant that I knew I had at least a year before I needed to worry about buying any more or there being different things for my Delak. So that gave me time. I just went, right, I can just focus on something else. And it was nice that it didn't give me that anxiety that I was panicking that I might suddenly get sideswiped by it.
I also think it's really sensible to just play one army again, like into that kind of because John, you're already talking about being involved in two. I suppose you're doing your Age of Sigmar orcs and your 40k orcs, so you're not jumping around too much. I think that's the kind of pressure at the moment. Like the Tzeentch list that I really wanted to run, I won't know how Tzeentch really pans out until Saturday, till the FAQ. So I'm not really sure how my army's going to work. I'm really hoping it comes out Friday. Is what I'm really hoping, the FAQ. And then I'll at least know how my army's meant to work a little bit more with pink horrors and stuff. And then if they just end up being rubbish, then that's fine. At least I know. But it's so weird. So over the weekend, I'll be playing probably with my Tzeentch, and I'll have 6 reps, which is 18 hours-ish. 18 hours-ish of practice with them. And then to think that might go out of the window is sad face. You don't really want to commit until you know what the situation is, I would say.
Yes.
Such weird range of feelings for a hobby. I love this, says Guys ID. It is weird, right? I agree. Neuroshock Stubb says that's too much logic. The key is to hoard multiple armies in boxes. I agree with that. Dreadwood says he doesn't know. He's in a hobby slump. He doesn't know what to paint. Bases are a good start to paint bases. New edition is always such a transitional time. 40k still feels like it's weirdly in a new edition as well, John. Does it not?
It's because it's still quite early when you think about it. We're only
two years till the new edition, John. 6
books in though. We're barely anywhere in it.
Yeah, but 2 years till the new edition.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. I just don't want to, Rob. I've just.
It's only 3 years till the new Age of Sigmar edition. You boys have really got to start nailing it out.
So what you find, Rob, is I'm actually painting my endless spells, the really bad ones that no one wants to play, because I'm painting them for Age of Sigmar 4.
Oh, okay. Which Age of spells are you painting?
All of them, especially this one, this dreadful thing.
The Ravanax Dash Your Jaws.
It's covered in dust.
Hey, Ravanax is great, man. Yeah, don't you cuss on Ravanax? I love Ravanax. Have you built Purple Sun yet? Have you built it?
Yes, I did 2 years ago, and I hated myself. I'm still angry about it. I'm still angry.
Isn't it one of the worst things to build?
I broke one of the spikes off as well somehow, just by walking around and falling onto it or something, and it just snapped. I'm like, brilliant, cool.
Arcane Ring says, do you think we'll see an abundance of Mega Gargant Mercs in new armies? It's a great question. I don't know if we're going to see a bunch of monsters in each army. I think that could be one of those things we see all the time, but I'll have to we'll see, right? We'll see when the new armies. There's so many rumors of new Beasts of Chaos, rumors of new Seraphon sculpts going on. So there's loads of rumors at the moment, but we're not really sure. So whatever. Tom Dick says, I ended up starting forces for Marvel Crisis Protocol and Lord of the Rings, mainly because both AOS and 40k both felt in weird transitional states. That's super fair. I'm excited to just get some reps in with Age of Sigmar 3, to be honest. I'm hoping.
I think that's the challenge, right? It's that whole kind of, we're almost on the starting blocks. We're just waiting for the race to start. And that's the problem. Yeah. In the last couple of weeks, I've just been sitting there going, I've got it, but I can read a rule book as many times as possible. But without actually getting to implement it practically, it just doesn't sink in for me.
Not long. We've got a tournament next weekend. In fact, we've got 2 tournaments. We've got an Age of Sigmar Teams event next not this weekend, but next weekend, so next Sunday, which I think there's still a ticket available for. And then we've got a singles event. There's a singles event, and I'm hoping the singles event someone drops out, because I'm going to be fucking gun in there. Gun in there, like, straight away, because Matt will be running the event.
So you don't need to.
Yeah, so I don't need to. So I'm just going to be fucking...
You can be that arsehole that keeps asking really
I turn up in the morning just like, has anyone dropped out? I'm playing. So I'm so excited. So it's going to be so fun. Like, I just want to get loads of games in. Like, and I know there's still loads of like problems with the virus and everything else like that. Obviously, maintain, be safe, do all the right things, wear masks, wash your hands, and all that other jazz. I'm one vaccine in, 5G upgrades soon. But I just want to play loads of games, John. Like, that's the thing I'm most excited about. And it doesn't feel super far away. I don't know if, or you like desperate to... You've been playing a few Garden Hammer games and stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've been playing lots of 40k still, but because there was this whole kind of lingering, the new edition for Age of Sigmar, a lot of my local guys were kind of in their infancy and wanting to play. So I've kind of never had that as a local thing. So this is now an opportunity for me to kind of go, right, we're all starting together, boom. And it's quite exciting, but I want to get there now and bring Kragnos and maybe my Rogue Idol if it's not getting Legends. Because that was a bad birthday present if it was. It's been Legends. I'm like, thanks, guys. I've always wanted one on my shelf.
Is it also true that there are loads of stockists have got loads of copies of Dominion still lying around?
Yes. So I think a lot of people were encouraged to be optimistic, which at the end of the day is what a sales team's job is to do, right? They're there to push to get us to buy the extra 5-10 copies or something, because they, at the end of the day, probably could work out quite well. Like Indomitus, if I'd been given an extra 5-10 copies, I would have been making bank. It would have been great. I think I can say I think I've got 11 copies left
of
Dominion. I'm surprised. I think it's going to be a slow burner for a lot of people. It's going to just sit there. I think it's something we should celebrate, though, that there is actually copies still available.
Oh, no, we shouldn't at all. Irish Alchemist,
to one extent.
Thanks for resubscribing. What are we celebrating? A producer produced enough stuff for people to buy if they wanted to?
As in, like a comfortable... I'm not kind of clapping them going, well done. It's more, well done, like slightly sarcastically. They've actually done their job. So to me, like, if you've got your average Joe, so not someone that's really invested in the game, really like rushing out pre-ordering on pre-order day, the people that will just pop down on Saturday that just might pop in and might buy it, they've got the opportunity to buy it. So it means that everyone gets one now. I feel bad if there is people that are pressured and have got stock that are now going to just be sat on. That's my worry, is that there's going to be that feel bads for that. But I think this is also a direct kind of response that a lot of people panicked probably in what they stocked, based on Curse City, because that was a shitty experience for a lot of retailers, because they were getting pre-interest requests for it, and then they get 9 copies. It's like, cool.
Well, I think Gamer Miller's nailed it. We don't really know if the demand is really low or they finally produce enough to exceed initial demand. I think that's it. I know shit tons of Age of Sigmar players who just aren't buying it. Well,
I think if you don't play Orcs or have an interest in Orcs and you're not fussed by Stormcast, why would you buy the box? You don't need the stuff.
Yeah, and it's also not like it's also just not the same as 40k. 40k, everyone has a Marine army. Yeah, Marines were also incredibly strong in the meta at that point when they released new Marine stuff. And it's Marines, right? And there's some new Necrons. Like the Swamp Bogglers are great. They're super cool, but they're weird and fantasy-like. And also, we've also seen the rules, and we also have seen the rules, and we know that they're not great. And then the Age of Sigmar stuff, the Stormcast stuff is great, but it's going into a book whose power level we didn't really know beforehand. So it was whatever. So and we don't know what his power level is going to be like either. So it's whatever. I personally don't think it sold super well, is what I don't think.
No. So whenever they say to me, this is how many we're going to suggest you order, but don't worry, we have made enough. Each time they say that to me, I'm like, yeah, sure. So when it actually happens like this, where they seem to have got enough stock, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, but whatever. I don't think you should applaud a company for making stuff or not making stuff.
Totally
whatever.
To me, it's like a slow clap of well done. You've actually done what your job is to do.
I don't give a fuck, John.
You turned up and did it.
I'll just print some stuff that look like swamp bogglers and use them. Nothing can bother me. The only thing I care about, and the only thing I cared about, was the death of the app. Sad face. But the book, I'm so excited about the book. The models I'm excited about, but I can't use them in a game yet, which is what I love. I love playing games, and they might be shit in the game, which is also another sad bit. So right now, whatever about the models, yeah? Right now, the models, whatever. However, the book, very excited. Love looking at some art. Can't wait to read the story. Yeah, gonna skip Path to Glory out completely. But I just want to read the story, man. Sit outside a cafe, read the story with my big stupid tome. For some reason, I can't buy it digitally, so all the nerds, everyone in the world's gonna be like, look at that fucking giant nerd who looks like a sad goth in the corner. But he's reading that really colourful book. It's gonna be. I might put wrap it in.
Get like a dust cover for some sort of deep intellectual book.
Yeah, or... Readers' Wives or something. Yeah.
Where's Wally?
Jugs. Anyway, question. Does the core book have any more rules than the PDF release? No more rules. I don't think it has any more rules, but it has the story, which is all I really care about. 200
pages of narrative, and then the Paths to Glory stuff. It doesn't even have... So, in the 40k one had the battalion stuff, how to build your armies, was in the big book, but not in... chapter approved, but all that stuff is in General's Handbook.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
So if you don't really want the narrative, you don't need to buy the main big book.
Yeah. The match play bit isn't in the PDF, Winner Dave. That's also true as well. But yeah, you could just get the General's Handbook as well, I guess, if you guys want. But most of that stuff's readily available online if you would like to borrow someone else's copy online. Allegedly. I'll say allegedly. That's how that works.
Yeah.
I have pre-orders Remorse, and mine will stay in the shrink wrap, says Prop Joe, till I see that we're at Warcraft Battletone. If it's Bing Guy, Dominion's getting sold. Super fair. I just want the book. And that was the only way to get the book, I think, wasn't it?
Nope. You could have spent £40 and bought a different version of the book.
Oh. But if you're spending 40 quid, why not just get the models as well and then flog them?
Yeah. Essentially, if you got the effort to do it, you may as well.
Yeah, you just need the GHB right and not the big rule book. Yes, but I don't see it as a big rule book. I see it as the narrative refresh.
So there's a lot of stuff in there. All the realms have got lovely maps showing kind of the center bits of them. It's quite interesting to look at, and I need to actually absorb it all now because it feels like, when Age of Sigmar 2 dropped, the rule book had that really nice kind of start almost to the narrative. This is building on that again, which is really cool.
I don't care about the lore, says Netcrisqui. I just want to roll dice, you nerds. Me too, but rolling dice without context, I need that lore in my veins. Pete is correct also. You're going to need the big rule book for all of the Path to Glory campaigns that are fucking flooding the event calendar. The amount of people who've called me to say, Rob, can we put the TSN Arena to hold a Crusade event? And I've been like, guys.
I've got one planned. I haven't asked for the dates yet.
We just can't
give me the dates back.
We just can't do it. There's too many Crusade events being planned here. Too many. They selling like hotcakes is the answer. It's just what do you think the book price on its own? How much is the book on its own? 40 quid.
£40.
For Games Workshop, a rip-off. For other... For Games Workshop, it's a fine price. For other book retailers, obviously, it's an insane price point.
So, it's about the same price as the D&D handbook? Kind of comparative price-wise, for a similar sort of system?
Would you say it's the same quality?
Probably not, but it is bigger. Bigger.
Okay.
So 65 USD, and this is 49 USD. So it is more expensive than D&D, to give context. Probably got more typos in it as well.
Gorka Worker says, you joke about Crusade, but I'm in one now in my local shop. Hey, it's just a joke. I'm waiting for the Crusade event organizer in the UK to jump up. I'm going to go, and I'm going to crusade my heart out.
I'll run one for you, Rob.
What?
I'll run one for you. Don't you worry.
You'll run one. Do you think you can get a whole mighty 16 people playing?
I'm playing in a crusade locally at the moment with 8 people. I might be having a problem where I can't lose because orc vehicles are overpowered at 500 points, though, Rob.
Right, okay. So it's not balanced.
Well, no game is balanced.
Well, then perfect. Sign me up, baby. What have I got to do? Do I have to? If I go to a crusade event, have I got to dress the part? If I come as a Harlequin, do I have to dress as a lycra onesie with sequins and diamonds?
Isn't that what one of the English ETC team members does? Turns up in Harlequin leggings.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay. But like that's what I'm asking. Do you have to do that at crusade at an event?
It's not LARPing, Rob.
Could it be LARPing though?
It could if you wanted to. You could turn up to you see people dressing up as ogres and stuff.
That's true.
Serious events.
That's how you get to write articles on the Warhammer community site, basically. You just dress the part. Linus, yes, what are you saying? The only event near me is the Summer Crusade. And it's fully booked. How many people are going? Crusade is narrative, just like competitive. It's true. They're all. Okay, John. Let us know what the details for your Crusade event are going to be, because I'm going.
Okay, I'll write.
I'm going. And I'm dressing the part. I want you to know. Is it a 2-dayer? Do you need? How many days do you need to do a Crusade event over?
I don't. It depends on the size of the game you're going to do, because it can be any size from 500 to like 2,000. So you could do a mixture. Yeah.
Are they not doing power level anymore?
Oh, I hate to say this, Rob. I play match play rules when I play Crusade.
What?
I'm not an idiot. Yeah, I change it to points. Because I'm not an idiot. And like, none of this, I'm going to deep strike turn 1 malarkey. You just do it properly. You play the game. You play the same game, just with a different framework.
Wait, so in Path to Glory, Crusade, I can deep strike turn 1?
And keep using the command reroll stratagem, all these sorts of things. Nah, no interest in that.
Really?
Yeah.
Can't wait to use that. You best put in the pack I can't, otherwise I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'll just edit your pack, Rob.
Wait.
All your packs are now going to be Crusade packs, Rob.
Apparently there's a Heresy event where Linus is, and it's sold out in under a week. That's good. Well, listen, John, it's been a pleasure talking to you about whatever we've talked about today. It's been all sorts, but it's been nice.
When you managed to fix my mic, because
it's still not really properly fixed, so I'm not sure what to do about that. But yeah, anyway, lovely talking to you. I hope you stay healthy and well.
Yeah.
Good.
I hope you have a really good event on the weekend.
Thank you very much. I've got the 40k Spice Center tonight. Spice.
You do?
Spice. Where we get to talk about whether or not Perspex basing is the right way to do your event terrain or not.
No.
You don't like it?
No. Ruins my immersion. It's like when you see people putting their figures on clear bases. It just looks stupid.
I think it's kind of cool, though.
It just looks like they're walking on some sort of 1970s sci-fi terrain, and it's like you must have bubble wrap on your walls and go, look, we're futuristic. Nah.
Bubble wrap on their wall.
It's insulation originally, Rob, but it was used as a cool type of wallpaper in the 60s, I think it was.
No, it wasn't. No one put bubble wrap on their wall.
You look it up, Rob, it's fucking terrifying.
No.
And in episodes of Doctor Who, they actually did it as well. There you go.
Okay. Fine. All right, fine. Oh, listen, John, lovely talking to you. Twitch chat, love you tons. Thanks for hanging out and chatting today. Big shout out
to work now.
Yeah, big shout out to everyone who has listened to the podcast, and thanks to everyone who has watched on YouTube, and thanks to everyone on Patreon. You guys are great. I can't wait to see you tomorrow, or join us tonight for the 40k Spice Center. Looking forward to that.
Warhammer instead.
Okay, fine. Thanks, John. Thanks for being like, big sigh at the end of the show, and then saying, I'm going to play Warhammer instead. You've really brought the show down. Yeah?
Sorry, Rob.
Thankfully, no one listens, so it's fine.
Take these out.
What are you playing, John? What 40k army are you playing tonight?
Orcs.
You're playing Orcs?
I'm taking a Squigoth full of flash kits.
Okay. Are you going to stream it?
Do you want me to? I'll do it from Fleets. I hear that's what all the cool kids are doing.
Oh, my God. Right. I'm going now. This has been a show. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Look after yourselves, and thanks for listening to The Honest Wargamer.